Alignment over attraction is the principle that separates temporary passion from lasting partnership. Attraction is loud, fast, and intoxicating. It hits you in a moment, floods your emotions, and makes everything feel urgent and electric. But alignment is quieter. It moves slowly, rooted in values, direction, and long-term vision. Most people chase the high of chemistry because it feels magical. But chemistry without alignment is like building a house on sand. It might look beautiful at first, but when real life storms hit, cracks begin to show. Alignment asks deeper questions. Do you both respect growth? Do you see life through a similar lens? Do you share a standard for discipline, loyalty, and purpose? Because while attraction sparks connection, alignment determines sustainability, and sustainability is what turns moments into a lifetime of meaning. When you choose attraction first, you often choose based on how someone makes you feel in the present. You follow intensity, excitement, and emotional rush without examining whether your lives are truly compatible. But intensity is not stability. You can feel deeply connected to someone and still be completely misaligned in how you approach life, money, family, ambition, or personal growth. Alignment forces you to slow down and observe patterns instead of moments. It asks you to look beyond smiles and butterflies and study habits, decisions, and consistency. How do they respond to pressure? How do they treat people when no one is watching? What do they do when life becomes inconvenient? These are the quiet indicators of alignment, and they matter far more than how strong the initial spark feels in the early stages. True alignment creates a sense of grounded confidence that attraction alone cannot provide. It brings clarity instead of confusion, calm instead of chaos. You're not constantly questioning where you stand or whether the connection will collapse under pressure. Instead, you feel anchored because your values are mirrored back to you. You both respect time, effort, and growth in similar ways. Conversations about the future feel natural, not forced. Decisions feel collaborative, not competitive. There's a shared understanding that you're building something meaningful together rather than just enjoying each other in isolated moments. Alignment doesn't remove challenges, but it transforms how challenges are handled. Problems become projects, not battlegrounds. Disagreements become discussions, not destruction. This kind of connection creates emotional safety without killing ambition or personal evolution. Attraction often pulls people together quickly, but alignment determines whether they can walk the long road. Side by side, life is not lived in highlights. It's lived in routines, responsibilities, sacrifices, and seasons that demand resilience. Over time, attraction naturally fluctuates, but alignment grows stronger when nurtured. It shows up in how you support each other's goals, how you handle setbacks, and how you stay committed even when excitement fades. Alignment is what makes two people feel like a team rather than two individuals trying to coexist. It builds trust because both people operate from shared principles. It builds respect because effort is mutual. And it builds momentum because both are moving in the same direction, even when the pace changes. Choosing alignment over attraction requires maturity because it demands patience and self-awareness. It means resisting the temptation of instant emotional highs in favor of long-term compatibility. It means asking harder questions and being honest about what truly matters to the life you want to build. Alignment isn't flashy, but it is powerful. It creates relationships that feel steady, intentional, and deeply rooted in purpose. Instead of chasing excitement, you start recognizing the beauty of consistency. Instead of fearing slow beginnings, you begin valuing strong foundations. And once you experience the strength of true alignment, you realize that lasting love is not built on how intensely it starts, but on how intentionally it grows. Standards shape destiny expanded into 5 paragraphs, and don't add any ending sentence and make it lengthy. Every paragraph will be in 150 words. And don't add to NMBRS a paragraph. Standards shape destiny because what you tolerate today becomes the life you live tomorrow. Every relationship you accept, every behavior you excuse, every boundary you lower quietly writes the blueprint of your future. People often think destiny is something mysterious, something random that unfolds without their control. But in reality, destiny is built from daily decisions. Your standards are those decisions. They determine who gets access to your time, your energy, and your heart. If your standards are low, you allow chaos into your life. If your standards are high, you invite clarity, growth, and purpose. The life you experience is not an accident. It is a reflection of what you permit and what you refuse. Standards are not about ego or superiority. They are about self-respect expressed through consistent choices. Many people fear having high standards because they confuse them with isolation. They believe that expecting neon will leave them alone, misunderstood, or labeled as difficult. So they compromise, they shrink their expectations to feel accepted, they ignore red flags to avoid discomfort. But lowering standards does not create connection. It creates internal conflict. You may gain temporary companionship, but you lose alignment with yourself. Deep down, you always feel the cost of compromise. Standards are not walls that block love. They are filters that protect it. They ensure that the people who enter your life are capable of honoring your values instead of eroding them. When you raise your standards, you are not pushing people away. You are refining the kind of energy that is allowed to stay. Your standards influence not just who you attract, but who you become. The moment you decide that certain behaviors are unacceptable, you begin holding yourself to a higher level too. You start speaking with more intention, acting with more discipline, and choosing with more awareness. Standards create internal alignment. They force you to live in a way that matches the life you say you want. If you claim to want loyalty, you must embody loyalty. If you want ambition around you, you must live with ambition daily. This is where transformation happens. Standards stop being rules and start becoming identity. They shape your habits, your mindset, and your emotional tolerance. Over time, you no longer chase validation because your standards give you direction and direction gives you confidence. In relationships, standards act like a compass that keeps you from drifting into emotional confusion. Without them, attraction can pull you into situations that feel exciting but slowly drain your spirit. You start justifying behaviors you once promised yourself you would never accept. You start negotiating your peace to maintain connection. But when your standards are clear, decisions become simpler. You recognize misalignment faster. You walk away sooner. You protect your time and emotional energy with conviction. Standards remove the fog of overthinking because they anchor you in clarity. They remind you that love should not require self-betrayal. They reinforce that respect is not something you beg for. It is something you require through the way you show up and the boundaries you maintain. Destiny is not built in dramatic moments. It is shaped in quiet decisions where standards are either honored or abandoned. Every time you walk away from what diminishes you, you redirect your future. Every time you choose integrity over comfort, you reinforce a stronger identity. Standards demand courage because they often require short-term discomfort for long-term alignment. They ask you to trust that what you protect today will multiply tomorrow. Over time, life begins to reflect the level you refuse to go below. Your environment becomes more intentional, your relationships become more empowering, your path becomes clearer. Standards quietly elevate every area of your life, not through force, but through consistency. And as those standards solidify, so does the direction of your destiny. Choose growth, not comfort. Expand it into 5 paragraphs, and don't add any ending sentence, and make it lengthy. Every paragraph will be in 150 words. And don't add membranous of paragraph. Choosing growth over comfort is one of the most defining decisions you will ever make, especially when it comes to relationships and long-term partnership. Comfort feels safe, predictable, and easy. It asks nothing from you except familiarity. Growth, on the other hand, stretches you. It challenges your habits, confronts your fears, and demands evolution. Many people choose comfort because it feels peaceful in the moment, but comfort without growth slowly turns into stagnation. It numbs ambition and weakens purpose over time. Growth may feel uncomfortable at first, but it sharpens identity and expands possibility. When you choose growth, you are choosing a life that is constantly unfolding, constantly deepening, highly elevating. That decision influences not just your career or mindset, but the kind of partner you allow into your life and the kind of future you are willing to build. In relationships, comfort often disguises itself as stability. You might feel relaxed with someone because they never challenge you, never question your patterns, and never push you beyond what is easy. But a relationship that never stretches you can quietly shrink you. Growth-centered connections feel different. They inspire reflection. They invite accountability. They create space where both people are encouraged to evolve, not remain the same. A partner who values growth will not always tell you what you want to hear, but they will tell you what helps you rise. They will challenge your excuses, expand your thinking, and support your evolution without trying to control it. That kind of dynamic creates a powerful momentum where both individuals move forward together instead of settling into complacency. Choosing growth also requires emotional maturity because it forces you to confront discomfort head on. Growth is not always glamorous. Sometimes it looks like hard conversations, honest feedback, and moments where your ego feels exposed. Comfort avoids these moments. It prioritizes temporary peace over long-term progress. But avoiding discomfort does not eliminate problems. It delays them. Growth-oriented relationships lean into truth even when it feels heavy. They understand that real connection is built through transparency and resilience, not avoidance. When both partners are committed to growth, challenges become opportunities for deeper understanding instead of reasons to disconnect. This mindset transforms conflict into a catalyst rather than a threat, creating a foundation where both individuals feel safe to evolve without fear of being diminished. A life built around comfort may feel easy in the short term, but it rarely leads to fulfillment. Fulfillment comes from expansion, from knowing you are becoming more than you once were. Growth brings depth to love because it allows two people to witness each other's evolution. It creates admiration, respect, and a sense of shared progress that comfort alone cannot generate. When you choose growth, you begin valuing effort over ease and progress over perfection. You start recognizing that meaningful relationships are not defined by how effortless they feel, but by how empowering they are. A growth-driven partnership builds resilience because both people are committed to becoming stronger, wiser, and more aligned with their highest potential. Choosing growth over comfort is ultimately a declaration about the life you want to live. It reflects a willingness to trade temporary ease for a lasting transformation. It means surrounding yourself with people who challenge your limits and inspire your discipline. It means embracing environments that demand your best rather than tolerate your average. Over time, this decision compounds. It shapes your mindset, your standards, and your identity. Growth becomes less about discomfort and more about purpose. You begin to see challenges as invitations rather than obstacles. You develop a deeper trust in your ability to adapt and evolve. And in that space, you realize that the most powerful relationships are not the ones that keep you comfortable, but the ones that make you unstoppable. Character over chemistry expanded into 5 paragraphs, and don't add any ending sentence and make it lengthy every paragraph, will be in 150 words. And don't add nem, res of paragraph. Character over chemistry is the mindset that protects your future from the illusions of the present. Chemistry is magnetic. It pulls you in fast, creates intensity, and makes everything feel alive and immediate. It's the late night conversations, the laughter that feels effortless, the spark that convinces you this must be special. But chemistry is emotional energy, and emotional energy fluctuates. Character is different. Character is who someone is when emotions settle. It's how they behave when things are inconvenient, when pressure rises. When no one is watching. Chemistry can introduce you to someone, but character is what determines whether they deserve a permanent place in your life. The danger comes when people let the excitement of chemistry blind them to the absence of character, mistaking emotional highs for long-term compatibility. When you prioritize chemistry, you often evaluate relationships based on how they feel rather than how they function. You become addicted to intensity, chasing sparks instead of stability. But sparks do not sustain commitment. They don't guarantee loyalty, resilience, or emotional maturity. Character does. Character shows up in consistency and accountability and the ability to take responsibility without shifting blame. It reveals itself in small moments that many people overlook. How someone keeps their promises, how they handle frustration, how they treat people who have nothing to offer them. These quiet indicators carry more truth than any grand romantic gesture. Chemistry can be manufactured through charm and timing, but character is built through values and tested through adversity. Life has a way of stripping away the surface layers of every relationship. Stress, setbacks, and unexpected challenges reveal what attraction alone cannot hold together. In those moments, chemistry fades into the background and character steps forward. When things get hard, you don't lean on butterflies, you lean on integrity. You lean on patience, honesty, and emotional strength. A person with strong character brings steadiness into chaos. They don't disappear. R when life becomes complicated. They don't manipulate when they feel insecure. They stand firm in their values even when it would be easier to take shortcuts. This reliability creates a deep sense of trust, and trust is the true currency of lasting relationships. Choosing character over chemistry requires discipline because it asks you to slow down and see clearly. It challenges the instinct to rush into emotional intensity and instead invites you to observe patterns over time. It asks better questions. Does this person live with integrity? Do their actions match their words? Can they handle conflict without disrespect? Do they grow when challenged? These questions shift your focus from temporary excitement to long-term sustainability. You begin to value depth over drama, stability over stimulation. This perspective doesn't make love less exciting. It makes it more meaningful. It replaces fragile passion with grounded connection, allowing something real to take root instead of something that only burns bright for a moment. A relationship built on character carries a different kind of strength. It feels calm without being dull, secure without being stagnant. There is a quiet confidence that comes from knowing the foundation is solid. You don't feel the constant need to question intentions or brace for emotional turbulence. Instead, you experience a steady rhythm of trust and respect that deepens over time. Character creates space for love to mature, to evolve beyond surface level excitement into something enduring and powerful. It transforms relationships from emotional roller coasters into partnerships rooted in purpose and mutual growth. And in that stability, you begin to understand that while chemistry can start a story, character is what allows it to last. Become what you seek expanded into 5 paragraph, and don't add any ending sentence and make it lengthy ever. Your paragraph will be in 150 words, and don't add NBRS a paragraph. Become what you seek is not just a motivational phrase. It is a principle of personal responsibility that reshapes how you approach love and partnership. So many people create detailed lists of the qualities they want in someone else: disciplined, loyal, ambitious, emotionally mature, confident, driven. But very few pause and ask the harder question: am I embodying these traits myself? Attraction is not random. It is deeply connected to identity. You attract what aligns with your energy, your habits, and your standards. If you want a high-level partner, you must operate at a high level. If you want someone who communicates clearly, you must master your own communication. The qualities you admire in others should become the qualities you develop within yourself. Transformation begins when you stop searching outward and start building inward. It is easy to point out what others lack. It takes courage to examine your own inconsistencies. Becoming what you seek requires radical honesty. Are you disciplined in your routines or only motivated when it feels convenient? Are you emotionally stable or reactive under pressure? Do you hold yourself accountable or do you justify your shortcomings? The partner you desire is likely working on themselves, refining their mindset, strengthening their habits, raising their standards. If you are not doing the same, you will struggle to maintain alignment even if you meet them. Growth attracts growth, stability attracts stability, confidence attracts confidence. This is not about perfection. It is about progression. When you commit to elevating yourself, you naturally begin filtering out connections that no longer resonate with your direction. Becoming what you seek also shifts your focus from chasing validation to building value. Instead of obsessing over whether someone meets your expectations, you concentrate on becoming the kind of person who naturally draws respect and admiration. You strengthen your discipline, you refine your communication, you manage your emotions with maturity, you build purpose into your daily life. This internal development changes the way you carry yourself. You speak with clarity. You set boundaries without guilt. You walk away from misalignment without desperation. Self-development creates quiet confidence, and quiet confidence is magnetic. It signals that you are not searching for someone to complete you, but someone to complement the strength you have already cultivated within. When you embody the traits you desire, relationships become partnerships rather than rescue missions. You stop looking for someone to fix your insecurities or fill emotional gaps. Instead, you seek someone who matches your level of commitment to growth. Two individuals who are both working on themselves create a powerful dynamic. There is mutual respect because effort is visible on both sides. There is admiration because each person recognizes the discipline in the other. This balance eliminates codependency and replaces it with collaboration. You are not clinging to each other out of fear. You are choosing each other out of alignment. That choice feels different. It feels intentional, grounded, and strong because it is built on two solid identities rather than two unresolved needs. The journey to become what you seek is ongoing. It requires daily decisions, consistent habits, and a refusal to settle for your own mediocrity. You refine your character in private long before anyone applauds you in public. You correct your weaknesses before demanding perfection from someone else. Over time, your standards rise naturally because you have risen. You no longer beg for loyalty because you embody loyalty. You no longer chase ambition because you live ambitiously. The mirror becomes clear. The energy you project matches the energy you expect. And in that alignment, you realize that the most powerful way to attract an extraordinary partner is to become extraordinary yourself.